Hello everyone, welcome to my little show that I'm doing tonight. Basically what I'm doing is a little bit of just a chill and chat. I've had a bit of a bad week and I just want to chill out. Things haven't always gone well with the woodworking and work, and they put me on some oval shifts. So a little bit short notice, but I set this show up just to sort of have a chill and a chat. If anyone's doing any plastic modelling, you want to join in, that's absolutely fine. I'll post a link a little bit later. But I do have a guest. Hello, Dave Mack. I'll come to you in a sec. So I have a very special guest. We have P40F20.
Hi, gang. How you doing?
So what have you been up to?
What have I been up to? Well, I've been working on my Aston Martin DB5, my Ghostbusters Ecto 1.
Yeah.
And the Spitfire. And the bus is almost done. I haven't managed to motivate myself enough to finish off the last 4 issues.
Yeah.
And the X-Wing, I've got all of the parts for it now, but I've had a 3rd round of circuit boards for that, and I still don't have good ones. So that's just kind of laying in pieces all over the place. Really sorry I bought that one.
Yeah. Actually, I'm glad you mentioned Ecto 1 because I've got a bit of an announcement to make. The last of my parts, my part works. What happened before, we're changing this over, but my part works were being sent to Adrian because I was possibly likely to move house at fairly short notice. I've always had my part work sent to Adrian. Now, because I think there might have been a little bit of a delay, so I've got a speck on the screen. My parts only came in last week, and Adrian sent them on to me. Unfortunately, probably because of delays with Royal Mail because of COVID, they haven't arrived yet. So I don't actually have any parts for Monday, issue 55. So there will be no video, probably not on Monday. I do apologize, guys. I had penciled in 55 and 56, which I thought would have been the catch-up. If they come very early on Monday, then I might manage to try and get one film, but don't expect it. And also my Spitfire hasn't arrived yet, which is due Thursday. But I'm not in full panic mode over that one because that could arrive Wednesday and I can film it and put it out on Thursday. I'm not going to panic until Thursday. So I apologize, guys. So we have one comment. We have Dave Mack who says, good evening, Penny. How are you, Dave? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop this link into the chat. If anyone would like to join us, you are more than welcome to. The link I've just posted is for this show. So you're welcome to pop in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a bit of work on my USS Hopper, and hopefully P40 will be quoting Cuckoo songs or making quotes like whatever he wants to do. So I will be up to scratch with what I have done, which is the hull, which I spent one late night show. I'm really sorry I can't get all of this into the camera, but yeah, this is what I did in a previous stream. Needs a little bit of sanding to it. However, one thing I forgot to do, and I should have done this before I put the top on, I wanted to cut 2 holes in the bottom and I want to mount it onto a piece of wood. Now obviously that's going to be difficult to do. I think the superstructures go there and there. I've measured the hull and it's 45 centimeters long. So if I was to got my little ruler out, if I was to measure 15 centimeters in to there, and 15 centimeters in from the other side, which takes us to about there, I think both of those holes will be covered by the superstructure. So I want to crack on and get those done today so that I can then dry fit them and see exactly what space I'm working with. Does that make sense?
Well, it really shouldn't be that difficult to put a couple of
No,
holes in, and
no.
if you
I
cut
think
down through the top,
I think all I need to do is drill a hole in the bottom, pop a piece of threaded rod through, have a hole there I can put a nut on, cover the threaded rod, and obviously drill holes in the bit of wood base that I'm doing. That's my theory anyway. So a little bit more chat. We've got Horlicks who says, "Hi both, just in the background working on a friend's dead PC. Have a great stream." How's that coming along, Horlicks? I understand you've been working on that all day. Dave Max says, "I'm good, thanks. Got my Spitfire parts yesterday. I'm doing part 43 on Monday." Yeah, I tend to be one day behind the main people. You get a load of people get them on one particular day. I seem to get mine the next day. So I was hopeful to get them today, but maybe they'll come Monday for me. And then Fleetwood J says, "Hi all, hope everyone's okay and good luck with the bill, Penny." Thank you very much. So I have treated myself to two very new things. I bought myself, most of you who know me know I don't spend all my money on proper Tamiya sanding sticks and things like that. I just use emery boards. They're cheap and cheerful and they do the job. And these ones are purple. So
that makes them perfect.
Do you know what? I actually bought them when they were in the blister pack. They were like that. And I thought, yep, they'll do. I mean, the ones I had before were brown, and when I took them out of the packet and I saw they were purple, I'm like, whoa, bonus. The other thing I've bought, I'm not sure if I'll need it, is some cheaper super glue. This is just where if I end up doing any photo etch parts, I'd rather use a thinner glue. I know it won't glue it on quite so secure, but I think it'll make a little bit less mess. But I think it's always handy to have the thin super glue.
Actually, super glue is not the best thing to use with the photo etch parts.
Is it not? What is the best thing?
Because, well, it wants to grab it right away. Maybe you don't have it in the right position. A better thing to do is to use some clear paint and brush that on to where you want to put the part. Then you can put the part down, and after the paint dries, it'll hold the part in place.
That makes a lot of sense. Wow. So something like gloss varnish or something?
Yeah.
Or any varnish?
Another thing that I've tried to recommend time and time again is this. This is there we go. Woodland Scenics Foam Tack Glue. It's a white glue.
Okay.
You can glue anything to anything with it.
So how does that differ from PVA glue? Is it the same?
It has a much stronger grip. It's not like you're going to accidentally knock the part off. Model railroaders use this to glue their track down to the baseboard. And I have a picture frame here next to me, and I have 3 metal medallions glued onto the glass with it for about a year. And it stays rubbery, and you can pull it apart if you want to, but it does have a surprisingly strong grip.
So it's a little bit like in the glue world, it's quite similar to a thread lock with nuts and bolts. It will glue it, but you can get it apart with not a ton of effort.
Right. And being that it's a PVA type white glue, if you need to do any cleanup, you can just do that with water.
Wow.
But that or using clear varnish are much better alternatives than using super glue on photo etch.
I'm going to write that down. So we're 10 minutes into a stream, and I've already picked up a fantastic tip already. So what is it? Woodland
Scenics Foam Tack Glue. Unfortunately, I don't think that Amazon in the UK carries it.
Right, that's fine. I will find some. I know a few shops that stock Woodland Scenics products. So
Yeah, it comes in a 12-ounce bottle, and that's probably all you'll ever need for the rest of your life.
Yeah, there's a few things like that, isn't there? I mean, the paints that I buy are like 17, 15 mil, and they last years, depending on the color that you use most. And then I bought things like matte, satin, and gloss medium, which comes in big tubs. And I'm thinking, well, if a pot of paint this big lasts me years, how long is this medium going to last me?
Mm-hmm.
So, right. So what I'm going to do today, the instructions tells me that I need to be gluing all of the or fitting all of these little fiddly parts. I'm going to skip over those because, especially with me still doing my room up, there's a chance that they could get damaged. So what I thought I will do is start work on the seat structures, and then when it comes time to glue those onto the actual stage 14, I'll then go back and then pick up the early stages. I don't think it'll matter if I do them the wrong way, will it? But that stage I want to get to, probably won't get there tonight. So I'll do a catch up on the chat. Where are we up to? Fleetwood J. Hello, Fleetwood J. Hi, all. Hope everyone. We said that one, didn't we? But hello again, anyway. David Bassett. Good evening, Penny and P40F20. It's always a treat when we can get P40 on, isn't it? Horlicks, yeah, it's been a puzzler for me. I know PC's like the back of my hand, but this one was tricky. But on the home stretch, and need to deliver it this evening. See, that's where Horlicks does a wonderful service. When my PC, Horlicks lives about an hour and a half, 2 hours drive from me, and when my PC had a problem, he's like, "Yep, order the part. I'll be up tomorrow night," and he will. And he's so fantastic.
It'd take me a bit longer to get round to his place myself.
Just a little bit. Yeah. And then Dave Mack said, I was going to get another plastic kit, but I'm not sure if any model shops are open yet. Do you know, I actually don't know. There's a model shop near, very close, to about 10 minutes walk from my house. And I think they're very good. If I had to do a criticism, it would be that the guy who works there the most, he's a bit of a tank fan, so a lot of the advice he gives is tank related. There's some products that tank builders will use more than, say, ship or aircraft builders. And he's like, get this. I use it on my tanks all the time. I'm like, but I'm not doing tanks. But I've not actually visited the shop since the second lockdown, the latest lockdown. Well, how many lockdowns are we in now? There just seems to be another lockdown happening every week. So,
fortunately, that hasn't happened here.
No, are you still on are you on a lockdown, or are you just following the same rules?
Sort of yes and sort of no. They started to open things up, let people go to restaurants and things, but it seems like the COVID cases have risen along with it.
Yeah. Well, the more interaction you allow people to have, the more nasty spread around.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think Americans and British have a different mentality, don't they? The British people seem to have a bit more of a I'm not going to do as I'm told kind of an attitude, whereas the Americans seem to be, on the whole, not everybody, well, all right, it's a little bit of suffering for a few weeks and then we can get on with our lives. But
I'd say it's about half and half, actually.
Half and half. Do you think it's different as you go to different states? So you might get one.
That's possible. Where I'm at, I think that people are basically following the guidelines. Actually, none of the restaurants around me are open for anything except takeout.
Right. That's the same with our rules. There's no sit-down restaurants. There's plenty of takeaways open.
Supposedly that had been opened back up, but they haven't done it here.
Right.
The other thing is they made, I'm sure they did do there in Britain that, masks are mandatory when you go any place, but half the people, they pull them down so that their nose is exposed, and what good does that do them?
We get that here. Since COVID, I've tried really not to give so much of a damn about things. I used to get wound up over so many different things. People trying to get on without pay, and that used to wind me up. People who are adult age but claiming that they're children, that used to wind me up. And I've pretty much got to the stage now where I'm just going, yeah, whatever. But I still cannot not get wound up by. If someone comes on my bus with no mask on, that doesn't wind me up, because there could be a legitimate reason why there's no mask. They could be exempt, and to challenge them could cause an embarrassment. But if I can see their mask and they're not wearing it, and I think wearing it there is probably worse than not even wearing it at all. And wearing it around your neck, what's that about?
Yeah.
So
before they made the masks mandatory, and some people were wearing them and some won't, I was in the grocery store, and this woman comes in with like 5 little kids. All the kids have masks on, and she doesn't.
Yeah.
What does she think is going to happen when they all go home? I mean, if she's picked up the virus, the kids are going to take the masks off, and then they're all going to have it.
Yeah.
It's kind of silly.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think also when masks weren't so mandatory, it was. I don't know if this is true or not. I'm quite happy for it to be true, but the mask doesn't protect you from other people. It protects other people from you. So I think there might be an attitude of, well, why should I pay for a mask to protect other people? So, I wonder if that makes a difference.
I don't think so, because the masks are mandatory now, and you can't go in any place unless you have a mask.
Yeah.
So, but you need to wear it properly. Otherwise, it's useless.
Well, if there was a chemical war going on and you didn't wear your gas mask properly, you're dead. It's as simple as that, isn't it? Yeah. You either wear it properly or you don't. So, right, David Bassett said Hobbycraft are open, but only for a few Revel kits. But only have a few Revel kits at present. There was a sign up saying that for the foreseeable future they won't be stocking Humbrol paints and Airfix kits. I wouldn't know why they're not stocking, but I know that it was explained to me that about the paint process. The reason they're getting low on stocks is from manufacture to shop is a very long process. They have to make a big batch of paint up. They have to fill all the containers. They then stick them on a ship, and then they take however long it takes to get. Then it has to go to the distributor and then out to the shops. And we're now starting to run out of the paint that they were making like a year ago. And it takes absolutely months to get from there to your shop. So once they run out of paint, they run out of paint for a very long time.
I know here in the US we're running out of stuff too, because everybody's starting to hobby.
Yeah, I'm just grateful that when you buy paint, it's something that's going to last you a while, unless you paint everything you own in the same colour. But I mean, I've got pots of paint that I've had for 4 years, 5 years, and I don't know if it, how long it would have lasted, because I've only been painting again for that length of time. So, but yeah, when you paint, but I guess the same situation with kits. If they're not going to make the kit, but then Airfix has just announced their new range of new kits. So who's selling them? Have they had them?
There are tons and tons of online hobby shops nowadays. And in fact, in the area where I live, there are no more hobby shops. They all closed. The
Yeah,
internet put them out of business. And there's
yeah,
just so many online shops where you can buy stuff from.
yeah.
So, I mean, like in your country, Hannon's would be the #1 place to go.
This is it. I mean, I don't think Hannants actually operate offline anymore. I know they're not operating offline at the moment, but their online trade has increased because everyone's just buying stuff.
Oh, yeah,
So,
I imagine so. I'd
yeah.
order from them, except the postage costs are horrendous.
Yeah. Is it, do they charge more than if someone posted you something? Because I know you have a little system, don't you?
Well, I won't say that it's more. I mean, I'm getting the Hachette Spitfire, of course, via my UK mailbox,
Yeah.
and every time they have a package for me, the rate is usually like about £30. But the
Right.
nice thing is, it gets here once they've got their hands on it, and I pay them. It gets here in like 2 to 3 days.
That's fantastic. So they
It's
must have
coming
their own.
UPS.
Yeah.
I the first time I did it, I went Royal Mail because it was like £5 cheaper,
Yeah.
and it took like a month to get to me.
Yeah.
So after that, it's like I'll pay the extra £5.
I think I've sent you a package before, and when I took it to the post office, they said we can't send it recorded, and it cost like whatever it was, and they said it should normally take 30 days. And I think it might have been someone else, but I think the package got there extremely quick in about 3 weeks, which was I thought was good because they'd quoted me up to 30 days. So obviously 21 days is brilliant, but 2 days compared to 21 days, sometimes it's worth paying the extra money. Adrian will tell you that I could probably, well, until recently, the cheapest way to send packages to me was with Hermes, but I felt I just wasn't getting the service from Hermes, and I'd rather go Royal Mail. But we've now found a service. It's a DPD service, and it's a little bit more expensive than Royal Mail if you go door to door, but they have parcel shops. It's just local convenience stores that act as a pick up and drop off point. And if the sender is prepared to walk to the shop, and I'm prepared to walk to my shop, the price drops from like £17 to about £4. And I'm like, hell yeah, I'll walk. That's a huge difference, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we reckon the way that they're doing it is, I know these couriers get paid, a lot of them are self-employed, and they get paid per drop, or they get, when I used to do collections, I would get paid like £1.25 for a collection, but if they had more than one parcel, I would get paid like 10 pence for every subsequent parcel. So when one of my collections was a grass seed company, and they'd have like 200 bags of seed to send in one go. So the first bag would be like £1.25, and then the rest were 10p. When you've got 199 10p's, that all adds up. Now, if you send a parcel door to door, the courier has to go out and find it. They go, I burnt myself £1.50. If he's got 20 parcels to deliver to one shop, and he earns like £1 for the first one and 10-20p for the next, he's actually made himself more money in less time and less fuel. So it works for everybody. But because they're paying less subsequent parcels, they can pass that saving on to the consumer, which is always good. And please excuse my chair, it's creaking like anything. I need to pop some oil on it.
Well, it's not as bad as it was the other day. At least it doesn't sound that bad to me.
Oh, do you know what? I did a recorded video when it came out the other week, and I was I was watching it back and I'm like, oh my God, that chair is terrible.
Yeah, it was creaking that time. Yeah.
Yeah. So, right. So Dave Mack says, thanks for the info, David Bassett. Much appreciated. Danielle Bujo just stopping by to say hello to all you beautiful peeps. Hello to you, you wonderful lady. Love minis. Half American people having an attitude. Geordie Dave says, evening, everybody. You're welcome to join us if you want, Geordie. And Dano, who says, hello, everyone. Matthew Baum, evening all. Just come from Horlick's live stream. I was watching that and I really am impressed with Hall. I don't know how he does it, but he's fun. I love watching him. He's just got this smoothness about him, but his Spitfire engine is just so neat and clean, isn't it?
Yeah, everything he does is that way.
I don't know how he does it. I can put once the effort into my build and Horlicks and get half the result. I don't know how he does it, but it's this smoothness he's got about him. I was watching yesterday's stream as well, doing issue 11, which is the hard issue. And I mean, I've always said I don't want to sound big-headed or come across the wrong way. I don't think it's a hard issue. I think you just need to be prepared to take a long time on it. And he was just like boom, 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 bit pair of tweezers, in they go, and everything was just going in, and it was just so neat. I don't know how he does it. So
some people are gifted that way.
Yeah, he's definitely gifted, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
So Love Minis, we have a problem with getting shot. Yeah. Apparently what was that? No, that's totally irrelevant. Ignore me. So David Bassett, I wanted to get a pot of Tamiya X7 red to touch up Root Master and M screws. Hobbycraft haven't had any since October. Yeah, there's a lot of trouble getting. I mean, I know I've mentioned this before, but getting, I've forgotten the colour. What was the colour we were after, P40?
Humble 78, yeah.
Humble 78. And in the end, I had to get this pot. I know you can't see it because of the light, but it's Roots model paint. And last I spoke to him, he was looking at doing colour matches of other colours, other brands. So I chased him up and see how he's got on. But yeah, I had so much trouble getting a shade of green. So
Well,
and
again,
then
I'd say try your luck on the websites, hobby shop websites. They may still have what you need. I know that the last time I tried to get myself some Humble 78, I ended up having to get the acrylic, which worked out okay, and everybody's out of it, and who knows when the stocks are going to be back.
Yeah. And then David Bassett says, I haven't built a plastic kit since I left school in 1974. And I've just seen a comment that excites me. Penny, there's a more modern 1:35 scale LGOC B-type model bus kit available by Mini Art. See it on eBay for $39.99. Is that the brand new price, David? I actually did the B-type bus by Airfix, and it was a terrible kit. I'm not saying it's impossible, but for someone who hadn't picked up more, it's very old, isn't it? But for someone who hasn't picked up a kit for a long time, bearing in mind I did this about 2 years ago, it was too much of a challenge for me. Once I build up the skill. Sorry, I just want to post this link again. Right. Yeah. For the level I was at the time, it was just too much. I thought once I get a few skills built up, I might give it a go. I've just seen another one. I just happened to have the tab open, and this one looks amazing. And this is 1:24 scale. Is it going to come up? There we go. So this one I've seen. This is from Okra, OCCRE. I think it's a fairly new kit. It's $94.95, but doesn't it look amazing?
That does look good.
I've got this problem here. Oh yeah. See if I can get some. I can't just scroll along on the pictures. They're a bit funny like that. But that I really want that kit. And they also do a glue pack, which I'm tempted to buy because it says that their glue pack. I can't find it. There was something. Apparently, it's. I did see the parts somewhere, and it's wood and metal. It looks very similar to the is it art? I've forgotten who they're called. The Artista. They make the wooden kits, and the way that they've got the wooden parts and the metal, it's it looks that kind of setup. And it just looks absolutely fantastic. But I will definitely look at that. I'm going to have to write all this down now. Everyone keeps giving me wonderful information. Mini art.
Oh, one thing that I'd like to say, because it mentions eBay here in this comment from David Bassett. eBay should be absolutely the last place that you ever go when you want to get something. There are tons and tons of legitimate online hobby shops. I mean, where do you think the people that are selling them on eBay get them from? You're just paying extra.
Yeah, don't ever. I mean, sometimes you can get some absolute bargains on eBay, and obviously, if you're looking for something that's out of production, it's obviously a good place to look. But I've seen what was it? Oh, I think this particular bus, which retails from an actual shop brand new at £95. I have seen it on eBay for £115. Well, £149.99. So yeah, you do have to be careful, but I will look out for that bus because I quite like. Do you know what, buses before this Harshep Routemaster came along, buses were, it's a model. That was kind of my attitude towards it. It's something a bit different. Obviously, I'm a bus driver, but I'm not a bus enthusiast. I've probably just lost about 5 viewers from saying that, haven't I? It was a way to a means. I mean, I'm lucky that I'm doing my childhood dream job. Well, although to be specific, my childhood dream job was a bus conductor. But I had a really good experience when I was about 6 from a bus conductor, and I'm like, I want to be like you when I grow up. And here I am. I've actually worked with that bus conductor that got me into buses, into driving. But I'm not absolutely fanatical about buses. But doing this Harshep bus, it's really got me into buses. If you'd have gone back 4 or 5 years ago and showed me a picture of a Routemaster, and I know there's some buses that look similar to the Routemaster, but they're not Routemasters. And then you said to me, what are they? I'd go, Routemaster. And now that I'm getting more into them, so I'd like to do some little model kits on them. And David Bassett says, yeah, there's also an old bill. Oh, brilliant, because the Airfix do the old bill version as well, don't they? I know they're the same kits with different color codes and decals, but they're the same kit. And then David Bassett.
Dave is building one of those Airfix kits.
Right. Well, I'd love to know how you're getting on then, Geordie, because it was an absolute. You talked about the Airfix ones.
Yeah, the Airfix bus. He showed it a couple of weeks ago. What progress he had made on it on one of the lives.
Yeah, I bet that was fun doing that, wasn't it? Right, they look fantastic. Love me, yes, great looking bus. I don't know how people managed on that bus. The seats are made of wood, and that includes the driver cab. I bet that was a nightmare at the end of the day, wasn't it? And they probably didn't have the laws that they have now on working conditions. So you might have had to do like a 12-hour shift sitting on a wooden plank.
Their hind ends were probably one giant callus.
Yeah. Yeah. Mind you, you had better uniform then. The uniform we get these days, you're replacing it every 6 months. So, of course, it was cold because you're out in the open air. Dave Mack used to have a book on buses from their birth till the 1980s. So that sounds interesting. And then David Bassett says, a very true P40F20. I've picked up some brilliant Code 3 EFB repainted buses on eBay. I search eBay, then look elsewhere for cheaper outlets.
Yeah.
First, my message is look in as many places as you can. Google has such a... I don't know if anybody ever notices. We all, when we search Google, we all look at the first page, don't we? And usually the first thing we click is probably one of the first 5 search results. But does anybody notice that when you do a search at the bottom, it says like page 1 of 3,400? I know by the time you get to page 15, it's irrelevant. But buried on page 3 might be some obscure little shop that just wants to make an honest living, selling stuff at reasonable price. So it's worth really doing your research. I'm planning on doing like a little scale model 101 or cheat or whatever you want to call it, where each week I'll bring out a video on one aspect of modeling. And the first one is going to be actually selecting the kit. My process of selecting a kit is I go onto a website called ScaleMates, which gives you an awful lot of information about the kit. I look on Google. I then look on somewhere like Hannants, and the reason I like Hannants is because when you bring the kit up on their website, if you scroll all the way down, it gives you a massive list of aftermarket parts that excuse me, it gives you a massive list of aftermarket parts which will fit that kit. Now, half of them you won't use, or they might be duplicates of another. But what that will do is that will tell you 2 things. What, firstly, is potential issues with the kit. So if, I don't know, you're looking at a Spitfire and the propeller blades are the wrong shape, and then there's 2 or 3 companies selling replacement propeller kits, then you know maybe there's a problem with that kit. But also it gives you a list of ways that you can improve a kit from the basic, rather than, obviously, if you're a real expert award-winning modeler, you can get your file and your knife and your putty out and you can make anything you want. But obviously, if you've got the aftermarket parts, that really does help a lot. This is actually what's delaying my Bismarck. So I bought the Bismarck, and I've bought and I've done the Tirpitz as well. I'm waiting on the wooden deck for the Bismarck. I've got the wooden deck on the Tirpitz. I've got replacement gun barrels, and I've got something else that I can't remember now.
Well, you got a ton of photo etch.
Photo etch, that's it. And do you know what? I'm not looking forward to that photo etch. I thought, £45 for a little bit of photo etch, that's a lot of money, but it's going to add the realism. When I got it, I opened the pack up and there's like 8 sheets of photo etch. I'm like, oh my God. And some of those bits of photo etch, they're models in themselves. They're not just little bits. Like on the Spitfire, we had that little bit of photo etch that we put in the air bit, the air intake underneath the wing.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. They're 4 sheets that you just slot in, job's done. No, we're talking things like cranes, and you get pieces, and you got to fold this, and you've got to fold, and it makes my Flying Scotsman look really easy.
And they're about the size of a thumbnail too sometimes.
Yeah. Right, sorry, bear with me. I'm reading comments before I. Oh God, you're right there. Right, I'll just catch up on so I can deal with this last one. So we've got David Bassett. Penny, I was lucky to view the London Transport B type at Reading when they brought it to the centenary celebration event for Thames Valley Traction Company. And then David says the LT one was repainted to represent the old Bill ones between 2014 28 for World War One scene. Oh, I missed that one then, didn't I? And then Mike Tedstone, hi old Penny, is there something wrong with your camera? Oh, I'll tell you what the problem might be. Let's just try that. Looks like I'm watching through a dirty filter. The problem I've got is that on my monitor, my picture, yeah, it's still bad. My picture looks a lot clearer than P40, but when I look at it on YouTube, it's actually, I look worse than P40. Let me switch my camera. No, it's really weird. It's not the most expensive camera. It's quite a cheap one. It does the job doing the face-to-face really well. Sorry, bear with me because I've got a. Yeah, that's terrible, isn't it? I cannot get a clear picture. What do you think that might be?
This seems like the focus is kind of off.
It is, isn't it? But on my, I wish I could show you this, but on my monitor, it is absolutely crystal clear. But on the computer, on the actual stream, it looks out of focus. It doesn't really look out of focus. It looks pixelated.
Yeah, the lines on your cutting mat there are all kind of aren't very sharp at all.
No, it looks like we've gone from 128-bit to 8-bit. Well, I mean, I've just done a reboot. Well, no, it's not the lens, Love Mini. Sorry, Love Mini says, is the lens dirty? No, it's not, because I'll give that a try. Because I've just switched cameras. But, so I'm just, so there's a 10-second delay, you see. No, that's no better, is it? But it looks absolutely crystal clear on my monitor. Right, well, look, let's pull a bit of the ship out. We'll see if I can get a focus. I'm just going to hold that there for a bit. I'm just doing a... Yeah, Mike Tedstone says back to the good old 80s. Well, look, you can see detail, but do you know what? Actually, that looks a little bit better. Let me just play with the light a bit. I can't wait for my new desk because I've got a better light set up. I think this light is too strong. Right, let me try, see if I can do anything with the settings. If I can find the settings. Sorry, bear with me, guys. General.
Well, it's better now that you don't have your hands in there. The lines are, I can see all the lines on the cutting mat now.
Yeah, well, I'm going to have to go with that then, because it's better to have something than nothing. Oh, sorry. I'm just seeing if I can prove it with the light a bit different. Anyway, look, we are 45 minutes into this. I've not done a thing. So, I've actually deliberately put this instruction like this. I just want to see what it comes out like. Come on, let's do a catch up. Yeah, it's not, I don't think it's unviewable, but it's not brilliant, is it?
No, it's not too bad.
Yeah, it's not awful. Right.
Sometimes the video is still a little bit jerky and lagging behind the audio.
Oh, right. would be a problem with my internet then. So Mike Tedstone says, I'm in trouble with Teresa now for mentioning it, Penny. Why are you in trouble? Listen, I always welcome any feedback, so long as it's constructive, as long as it helps me out. I can't see how any of it can be bad. So yeah, the fact that, you know, to be honest with you, I wasn't actually looking at the computer that much. I was looking more at the monitor. So for the last 45 minutes, I've not even been aware there's been a problem. It's not until it was brought up, and then I looked at the.
It kind of comes and goes.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see how we're getting on. Right. So this is what I'm doing today. I'm going to start at stage 5 and 6. I'm going to, where I need to add a little bit, then I'll make it. Otherwise, we've got small parts flying around all over the place. So it's a simple construction, is what looks simple, but putting little bits together, adding them to something else, maybe making a bit and then going back and bringing something else in. But standard modeling, really, isn't it? Yeah, so my choice, I have been recommended another glue, and I might get the name of this wrong. It's called, is it Mextex or something like that? Dave Max says, sorry for leaving abruptly, Penny. My internet keeps going off like it did last night. It's not a problem. Maybe I'm having the same problem. Yeah, so I'm not going to be buying any more glue until I use my glue up. This is the glue I use. I'm happy with it. I'm not going to throw this away just to try something else. But when it starts to get a bit low, I will look at another glue. So, yeah, that's my glue. So, yeah, all I can really do is crack on. Usual procedure. You might notice little tabs on my sprues. I really struggle to read the letters on the sprues, so I tend to put masking tape on and label them. But I won't be labeling anymore today because I've run out of masking tape. So I can't label anything, and I'm not getting any more masking tape until Tuesday. So, and I can hardly wait. Isn't it funny how something as simple as masking tape can excite you?
Well, if you don't have it and you need it, yeah.
Well, I like to think that Horlicks is well known for his electrical tape. Yep. I tend to use masking tape in the same way that he will use electrical tape, especially with the bus. I'm at the stage where I've got lots of wires and things hanging down, and the bus is in a really safe place, sitting on the corner on the end of the desk. But I do every now and again just catch it, especially when I've got my big baggy work coat on, and I just find that I knock things. And one day I'm going to knock those wires, and I've done so well. Every single little test that I've done on the electrics, it's always worked. And the only time it didn't work, I actually didn't have the battery in properly. That's the only problem I've ever had with electrics. So
well, I think after next Wednesday's show, you should have the back framework on, and that'll take care of all the wires finally.
It looks that way, doesn't it? And I cannot wait. Yeah. So this is looking. Oh, by the way, in case anyone didn't know, this is the USS Hopper. It's 1 to 350 scale. I've got 1 to 350 scale because it's probably easier to build, actually. But I see 1 to 350 scale to ships as very similar to 1 to 48 with aircraft. A little bit bigger, a little bit more detailed. Of course, there's more of a challenge with painting them because you've got more to paint and therefore more to muck up.
I don't know how the instructions are laid out exactly for that kit, but another tip would be if they don't have the color call outs on each page. What I like to do is take a pen and write down the what color each part needs to be on the instructions.
Oh, you mean like, see, this has got no colors on it. I know you probably
Right.
can't. Oh, I'm frozen. I'm freezing. I think I've got a problem with my internet. Oh, you can see it, yeah. Oh, actually, that's getting quite clear. So you've only got the parts numbers. There's no colors. The
Right,
colors
yes.
the colors come on. Sorry, go on.
It can having the colors written down by each part can also help you make decisions on, do I want to glue these parts together now, or do I need to do some painting first and then glue them together? Things like that.
Which is the standard way of doing aircraft, isn't it? Sometimes you'll get like a grey interior with a black bit. You paint the black bit, then glue that onto the grey after you've painted it.
Right.
But
it's easier than masking.
Yeah, this particular model, it looks like, with the exception of a few bits, it looks like it's all going to be the same colour in whatever area, with a few little details to pick out.
I'm
so like
thinking more like of with the superstructure. You know, the decks. You know, looking at that picture underneath there, where you're looking down on the top of the ship. You know, the decks are a different color from the side walls of the superstructure. You might want to paint those separately and then glue them together afterwards.
Right, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, so I've got to work out where this.
I think ships offer more challenges in terms of painting things than anything else.
Cheers for that. This is my first. This is. I mean, I did get a little Russian submarine, which is. I probably shouldn't have gone that one first, because I can weather and yeah, weathering's fine, but weathering black is harder for me because you can't go darker with black.
But there are different shades of black available, from light, you know, to dark. So you can kind of shade it that way, but black is a hard one.
Yes, and that's what I've picked for my first seagoing vessel. But I went for this one because it's not really a massively expensive kit if it all goes wrong, and it will fit in. If I'm going to go ships, I personally would rather go US Navy, and this is a modern one of the what do you call it, battalion? You know, when an aircraft carrier goes out to sea, support ships.
Right.
Those are the little support group, and this does and has support aircraft carriers, so it will fit with. Eventually, I want to do a couple of modern aircraft. I want to do an old aircraft carrier, then I want to do a modern one. So then straight away I've got a comparison between the two. I'm not talking months here. I'm talking years, guys. Not
right.
Oh, I'll do one tomorrow and then I'll do the next one the day after. But then I'll start picking up certain ships in between. So like the first one I want to do is the Langley, which is basically a ship with a platform on it. And I've forgotten what it's called now, but is it the CVV-4, which was the first purpose-built aircraft carrier? And then I want to do the Enterprise, because if you're going to do aircraft carriers, you've got to do the Enterprise, haven't you?
Yeah, Trumpeter, I think, just recently came out with the World War II Enterprise.
Yeah.
I think it's 1/200th scale, though, rather than 1/350.
That's big.
Yeah.
That's incredibly large, because it's, well, I suppose if it's a World War II version, it's not as big as the modern one, is it?
Right.
So, right, let's do a bit of a cat. Sorry, go on.
In the US, it seems like the bigger the better.
Yeah,
I put the stuff.
I think that's the mentality that I've got. Yeah, let's not go little. Let's go massive. But I think the big ones are easy to build anyway because the parts are bigger.
Well, yes and no. There's more parts. It's like
There's
some
more
people say,
parts.
"Oh, I'm gonna go up in scale because the parts are too small in 72nd scale." Let's say. Well, yeah, the parts that were very tiny in 72nd scale are now bigger, say in 148 scale. But then it also means they can have some other smaller parts because the scale is bigger. You just don't get away from it.
I just wonder why that part didn't fit. That part didn't fit because it was upside down. There's a little tab there. I don't know if you can see it, which just goes over there. So I can't figure out.
Your
Right.
video's going jerky again.
It is again.
Start and
Gone
stop.
really. It actually looked worse quality than my very first Rootmaster video. Right, David Bassett said, how about a part work build of 3 minis, one red, one white, one blue, together with a Bedford Bella Vista twin stair coach, aka the original Italian Jobs minis and coach. That I could really go for. That would be absolutely fantastic. So long as it came with 3 little figures, one for each of the main guys, but Michael Caine one as well. But yeah, that I would go for.
Yeah, they ought to do a part work of a mini and specifically from the Italian Job.
Yeah, didn't they do a part work mini test?
Yeah, I think somebody said that. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that. I think they've even released a video for it, but I don't know what happened to it. So Dave Bassett, yes, really look forward to your next Rootmaster live build on Wednesday. Yeah, do you know what? Every build I do, I'm like, yeah, that's fantastic. I'm really loving it. And then I do the next week and I'm like, wow, this is even better than last week. And then the next week I'm like, whoa. And of course it sits the way I've got it positioned, but not on purpose. But when I get out of bed, it's the first thing I see in the morning. And it actually does give me a bit of a smile. I will be honest, a few weeks ago, it didn't give me a smile. Because I was having much trouble with it. And I was swearing at it quite a lot. And that the wiring was incredible because it was such a mess. And I absolutely insisted on getting that wiring so it wasn't a mess. And I just literally resorted to doing it one wire at a time. And then all of a sudden it was like, whoa, this is looking fantastic. So yeah, I'm really, now that wiring is neat. I'm really, really happy with it. But I didn't realize there was that many wires in it.
Yeah, you don't realize how many. You think there's only a couple of lights in there, but no, there's a lot of lights and there's a lot of wires. They add up fast.
Yeah, you get the odd wire here, the odd wire there, and then all of a sudden here we are with loads of wires. Right, so.
And fortunately, you don't have so many with the little Fiat.
Right, yeah, I suppose you wouldn't, would you, if it's an older one?
Yeah, you were a bit down on that build for a little bit.
Sorry, on the which one?
The Polski Fiat?
Yes. That's a nice, simple build. That is. There's a couple of little tricky bits in it. But on the whole, I'm really enjoying that. And I like the way they do it. It's when I did the Harley, it was very much, here's a part, pack it away and leave it there for a year. And then the next pack, I think we were getting like 3 or 4 issues per pack. And we were only building one stage. The rest was here's some parts. And that's not necessarily the fault of the build because it's so big. The parts are massive. What can you do? But what I'm noticing with the Fiat is we're now getting to a stage where they're like, right, here's a big here's a big part, put it away for later, but here's something else you can be getting on with. And you may only do, I don't know, what was it, the handbrake? we had a big old bit of caravan, and then we had to put the handbrake in, and it's like, but at least I've done something, so I'm happy. And I thought I'd knocked a piece off there. Right, let's actually glue something in, shall I? I like this. David Bassett says you're only supposed to screw the bloody doors on. Right, Penny Wickham have let Josh Parker join Burton Albion on a free transfer. He came off the bench for the Brewers versus Ipswich for the last 16 minutes, but they lost 1-0. And then he says, at 1 to 8 scale, perhaps Penny would have to be 1 to 12 scale to make the coach big enough, but not over large. Would have opening back doors, ramps, and goal bars, and the boot to the mini. Yes, yeah, I can see. Oh, have I just frozen? Right, I'm trying to click on comments. Am I still with us?
I still hear you, so you're still here.
Okay. My mouse seems to block. Okay, am I moving? That's really bad, isn't it? I'm actually clicking on comments and they're not coming off. Yeah. Right. Can you see my hand?
No, all I see is the instruction sheet and your knife there. It has.
Yeah, I think I've frozen. Right. Give me a sec, guys. I'm going to close. Right. Oh, we're just trying to catch up. No, we haven't. Right. Bear with me a sec.
Being Saturday, there must be a lot of internet usage in your country. That might be slowing everything down. Uh-oh, I'm all by myself. Hopefully Penny will be back shortly.
Hello. Am I back?
Hello.
Right, I'm really sorry about that. It's so embarrassing. Oh.
I was just saying while you were off that being Saturday, there's probably a lot of internet usage.
Yeah, but I get this problem on a Wednesday as well. Yeah, I think it's my internet connection. I might just do a speed check. And I'll do a speed check later on. Okay, well, look, I'm going to muddle along. If it gets too much, then the only other thing I can do is stop the stream and try again another time. But yeah, it's the yeah, it seems to be better now. So, but yeah, with regards to this 1 to 8 scale mini, yeah, it's. Trouble is, the cars come out at 1 to 8 scale, so they'd probably do the mini in 1 to 8, wouldn't they? But the larger vehicles go at 1 to 12. So I suppose if they did a mini in 1 to 12 scale, would that be an indication that the coach is coming?
Could be.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know I don't know how they would handle it. Anyway, look, I am going to try and get some gluing done so that I can get something done. Yeah. Right. I think I'm going to try and pop this bit on interact. Oh, I haven't sanded that very well, have I? I want to use that. Oh God, look, this is the worst bit of prep I've ever done in my life.
You'd be better
Can you
off
believe
using
that?
one of your emery boards on that.
Yeah, I bet there was a big lump there. Oh, I tell you what, I had fun the other day. I got my Dremel out for some sanding. It was so much fun.
On wood?
No, not on wood, on brass.
Oh, okay.
But it was
Using that on the Flying Scotsman?
Yeah, that was it. I was trying to think exactly what I was doing. It was yeah, what it was. We've got a bit coming up, but there's you know what? Sorry, I'm going to show you because I'm really loving this bit. So this piece here, this silver piece, out of the pack behind there was a great big support, which obviously is designed to stop this from snapping in progress. In shipment. So that all had to come off, but you cut it there and there, but it still leaves this big bit on the back, and then the screw hole in there, you've got to make it larger, just like you did with these. Now, I used the grinding tool, and that grinding tool really isn't that good for wearing down metal. So I tried a different grinding stone, and that wasn't really much good either. I've got all of this on camera because, you know, I'll document my, let's just call them trying new things out. And then I just thought, you know what, I'll try sandpaper. And I'd used the sandpaper, and it went down absolutely fantastic. But I did use the grinding stone for enlarging the hole. But I liked that because it was circular. Obviously, if you want to make a circle bigger, you need to keep that absolutely circular to keep it circular.
Right.
If you start off, if you're heavy-handed going away as you're coming in, you're then going to start creating an oval. Right. And using Dremel wasn't a bad idea because all you had to do was just push it, and then as the stone was that shaped, it made it bigger as you pushed it in further. And it was yeah, it was good fun. And then it all came together. Then some other bits broke off, which I put back on again. There's been a lot of problems with it, but it's all been rectified, which is, I'm putting this on the wrong side, which I'm really happy with. I don't mind things going wrong if they can be rectified. Right, I'm just going to dive in on this. And the reason I'm confident with diving in is I've got to glue this piece on at a certain angle. And there's going to be a piece going on the front to match. And now this isn't going in. Why did the dry fit work perfectly, but now this piece isn't? That's because I've got it on the wrong side. See, this is where I make the cock-ups.
Right. And you always make the cock-up when you use glue.
Yes. Yeah, most definitely. Right. So that glue is gone dry. Also, it helps if you remember where you put your part so that you don't pick another part up by mistake. Right. So there will be a piece going on the front, but if I do the two sides first, then this glue, it's a good glue. It sticks straight away, but it doesn't really set for a while, does it? So you've got to.
Is it a thick glue or is it a watery glue?
It's a watery glue.
Okay, so if it's a watery glue, you're better off putting the two pieces together and holding them together, and then putting the glue on the joint
Yeah, these are
while
two
it's
things.
together, and let capillary action carry the glue.
Yeah, but I can't do that.
The watery glues tend to volatilize very quickly, so even before you can get the two parts together, the glue's already gone.
Yeah, but holding these together is a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm having to do it this way. So, right. So now I've got these two parts on. Now I can hold this piece on. Right. Really not like that bit, you know. Oh.
Did you get some glue on your fingers?
No, the first bit that I glued on, or the last bit I just put on, has just come off. What if I put that on there? No, right. I'm gonna get this. I will get it. Right.
Now, if you only had some masking tape.
If only I had masking tape, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I can feel this is a success. Guys, don't do ships. Now, you know me, I won't let this beat me.
Mm-hmm.
Right. If I now tip that upside down, bring that part in there. Right. I've got another great idea, and I know everyone's shouting at the screen already. I'm going to get some tweezers out. And I'm going to get my, no, I was about to say I'm going to get my plastic tweezers out, but that may not be a good idea using plastic glue.
Now you could glue your tweezers to your part.
Yeah, and that would be a disaster, wouldn't it? Right. So this is me using glue left-handed. Let's get something there, because the more I push, the more it's running away from me. Right. That I like. I only need to get a point of anchor. That's not worked. That is. Right. So. Oh. Right. So if I now position this, like you say, if only I had masking tape.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I know people go, oh, get so and so, it's fast acting. I actually like this slower one because you see how much more time I've got. I can glue the part on, and then I've got a bit of time before. In the morning, we'll not get this off, but for now, I can reposition slightly.
Yeah, you've got some time when you use a regular liquid cement versus using a CA glue.
Yeah.
Although once you've used up that cement you've got there, I would recommend Tamiya Extra Thin.
Yeah, a lot of people have said that. I might even go as far as buying. See, I've had two good I say good recommendations. I think it's called Mextex. I have to keep an email. Thankfully, he emailed me, so I've always got those emails to refer back to.
Maybe you're trying to say Mech Pack?
Yeah, that might be one. Yeah, this is not going to be my biggest success ever, is it? There we go. I think I've got it. By Jove, I think I got it. Yes. Ha ha ha. There we go. One happy bunny. There's a little bit of a gap down there, but I don't know if it's my bad gluing or if it's the kit.
Who's the
But
manufacturer of the
I
kit?
think it's my Trumpeter.
Trumpeter? Well, they've got a fairly good reputation in terms of parts fitting.
Have they?
Mm-hmm.
So I could actually
not necessarily the most accurate, but the parts will go together well.
All right, so they do go well. So
yeah,
I think these are good fitting parts actually, because what I'm doing is if I'm pushing them, yeah, I've covered most of that gap up. So, but to be honest with you, that's the kind of gap that you can fill with gloss varnish. So that I'm okay with that. I'm happy with that. I know I'm so pixelated, but yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm happy. So let's see if we can actually do a catch up with the chat. So David, David Bass, well, you charge for a few minutes P40 F20. David Bassett, yeah, you're right. Internet has gone through the roof here. David Bassett, sorry to sidetrack your live stream, Penny. Better get back this year. No, it's fine. I've called this chilling chat, and that's exactly what it is. I just feel I need a bit of a chill out session. I knew I would need a chill out session because you should see me too. Thursday morning, I was so crowded because I had to get up for work the same time I usually go to bed after work, and I'm really not a morning person. And the bed's been going so badly. Chris Campling, hi Penny and P40 and everyone. And I wouldn't mind modeling the RMS Queen Mary, my grandfather handmade chair for the liner in 1935. Each handmade chair had craftsman's name stamped into the crossbeam under the seat. Fantastic. So your grandfather lived on forever. Always want to visit the ship at Long Beach, California. I want to go to Long Beach, California. Apparently it's quite warm there, isn't it?
Yeah, it would
And if
be.
there are any original chairs still on board, have a look to see if one has W.A. Avery stamps onto it. If so, my granddad made it. And then we get a rare visit from Chris Campbelling. How are you? Oh, just had so how are you, Chris? Chris had a bit of bad news last week, didn't you, Chris, about your build? I believe your parts didn't arrive on time, so you weren't able to build, which was a real shame. But I think you're not going to be alone now. I know I'm struggling for parts. And then Dave Mack says, hi, Chris Campbelling. So let's do another stage. And so that is, oh, now I've got small parts to it. So this one is referring to, that's that one. I don't know if you can see that. Obviously, if there's no parts list, parts numbers, that means you've already made it. And that looks a bit like that one to me, because that looks like a radar dish. Would you agree?
Can't make it out very well myself.
Well, there's 3 of them, but I can't see the other 3. The other 2 are. I think I'm confident that that's it. But if not, we'll have. I've got a spare for small parts, so anything that doesn't get used can be small part drawers. So just got to find the D sprue now. I hate looking for sprue here. Oops, I just dropped one on the floor. There you go. This is D, and there's 2 sprues. So I'm going to guess these are identical sprues. So all of these where we make 3, I guess we could theoretically make 4. It's probably cheaper for them to make.
Yeah, that's
sprues.
What they do anymore is they try to get as many duplicate parts on a frame as they possibly can, and then just make duplicate frames. Sometimes you end up with a few extra parts that way.
Well, at least these are nicely laid out. The numbers are all running in sequence. You got 1 to 12, 13, 14 to 23, 24, and then they start again there. So they're nicely laid out, easy to follow, which is handy. Right, I'm just going to drop that. So yeah, this is what we're dealing with, even 1 to 350 scale. That's one of the 3 parts.
Could make the kit in a larger scale, and you'd still end up with some parts that small because they could give you smaller parts.
This particular part would then probably come out in 3 parts to glue together.
Yeah.
But it does make it a bit of a nightmare filing it. Just going to have to cut it very, very gently. It's just too small to get the emery board in.
Sometimes they'll give you 3 or 4 parts where one part would have done the job.
Yeah, but isn't there a sense of satisfaction? You know, I stuck that pinhead onto that hair. There you go, I'm okay with that. Right, so D30.
That is if you still don't lose it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I absolutely love my drawers. I don't often, well, I do often do recommendations, but these, I can't remember where I got the drawers from, but I've got to see if I can find a spare one. There we go. These are the drawers. I mean, this isn't finished yet. I'm still painting it, but these, I can drop parts in there, and as long as I don't tip it upside down, that's not going anywhere. And I use these for my part works, and they're really good because they fit all my little screw pots in. Yeah, I've got a few parts for future in there. Any large parts obviously aren't going to go in, but it's dead handy. So this is a more reasonable size piece. Right, I'll tell you what would be handy here is a bit of blue tack. Oh, that's upside down. So that is going to go in like so. That is it. I thought that was going to stay in. Right. Everyone's gone silent. Oh, that's instant stick, wasn't it? No, that didn't work. I was trying to get the right angle as well. Yeah, you can kind of feel the angle. And there's a little bit of detail right in the middle of the dish. So you can kind of, as you put it down, make sure you cover the angle. So let me hold that. So that seems to be the natural way it falls. Yeah. Yeah, now that I've put this together, I can see this is the correct bit. I will show you, but I don't know if you'll see it. So that's the bit we're trying to make, and that's the piece I've got.
Well, the part that's right next to it is even tinier.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Right, so the last part is D36. So have I attracted this kit to anybody? Is anybody looking at this and going, yes, Penny's making that look so easy, I'd like to make it.
Well, either this or something else. There are so many subjects that are available, you're bound to be able to find something that really lights your fire.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I really want to do this because I have been told this isn't the easiest kit to start with. So I might actually have bitten off more than I can chew. Right, where's the part I just made? Right, so that's going to fit into there.
Well, at least it's not like you're building the 1/200th scale Titanic.
Is that hard?
I imagine it would be because it's huge.
Okay.
And very detailed, so you'd have very teeny tiny parts again all over the place.
Yeah. Right. That actually fits really nice as a dry fit, which obviously enables me to play around with this a bit more. Now, that's a tight fit, but it will go. Look at that. That's no glue. So I'm happy with that because all I have to do is drop a touch of glue in there and then touch of glue in there, and it's done half my work for me. Yeah, that bit was easier, wasn't it?
That does look like a type of radar or communications disc.
Yeah, and there's another 2 to make at some point.
Another 2.
Yeah, but that little tiny weeny bit was easier than that bigger bit. So that's good, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Back to the G's. No, that's wrong. So here's a tip for you guys. If you've got a screw out, keep it out handy. Because then you lose. Oh, that might be the one that gets off. Oh. Yeah. Right, G40. I mean, that's not too bad. It's not awful. Except that it's that bit in the middle, little H shape. I'll cut that off. Yeah, this, and I'm not going to comment on it because it could be the worst it's going to be, or it could be the easiest it's going to be. So looking at that, it looks like the longest bit is pointing forwards. Whoa, that moved. Yeah. So I think one of my first tips I would give anyone who's starting a ship is tweezers. I mean, tweezers are pretty much essential kit anyway, but yeah. But yeah, you're definitely going to need them for these, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
Are you much of a ship builder?
Me, no. I've dabbled from time to time, but it's just never held my interest well enough. Primarily, I like World War II aircraft.
You certainly do, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of aircraft I like. I know I've mentioned this before, but my main kick is US Navy aircraft.
Yeah, you were saying that the last time. Yeah.
Yeah. And I've got a nice right. Difference between an Englishman and an American is the Americans will say aircraft by designation, won't they? So like an American would say the F-14, an Englishman would say Tomcat generally. But I can't remember the number, but I've got a Crusader. Is
F8.
it the yes,
F8.
that's it. And I kind of see that as it's not really the best loved one, is it? There's so many other aircraft that everybody loves, and I just think it gets neglected. No one really wants to do it, and that's part of the reason I quite like it. Is that a terrible reason for liking an aircraft?
Well, there can be many reasons for liking an aircraft. Friend of mine, his favorite aircraft is the Junkers Stuka.
Yeah.
Dive bomber from World War II. Now that thing is ugly.
No, you see, I do actually think it's quite beautiful. The wings look broken. You've got that lovely air intake at the front. And it's very fit for purpose, isn't it?
Well, it's built to do the job, but it wasn't built to look good while it was doing it.
No, but, you know, would you rather have something that did the job well or an aircraft that's flying around and all the enemy are going, oh, look at that beautiful aircraft? So I was watching a documentary the other day on, it was an American aircraft. It was, it was no, can't remember. Right, okay, I've got a situation here. This particular part looks like it wants to point up, but I'm not sure if it should point up or point down. I'm not enjoying this so much, you know. Ah, yeah, that's right. So there's a little tiny bit of detail on it. This is just like doing the Route Master, but much smaller.
Reminds me of the little chrome buttons from that panel on the dashboard of the Ecto 1.
Yes. Yes. There you go. That's not a pig's ear, is it?
No, it's good.
It's a bit gappy in a few places, but gaps can be filled. But I say all the little gaps there, that one maybe not, but all of those can be filled with just a bit of gloss varnish. That'll fill that nicely. But yeah. Right. Okay, let's do a catch up before we move on to the next part. If I have missed anyone, I apologise. David Bassett, Chris Campling, good evening to you. Chris Campling, hi David Bassett. David Mack, hi Chris Campling. Bill with Adrian, hi chat. Hi everyone, nice chat so far. Dave Mack, hi Adrian. Bill with Adrian, hi Dave Mack. Bill with Adrian, hi. And hi, Love Minis. Love Minis says, Penny paid me to say she's making the kit go together so easy. Everyone should get one if they can find it. Yeah, and I get a kickback as well on everyone that's been sold. Right. If only. Do you know what, Love Minis? If I had the money to pay you for anything, I actually would. I'm very fortunate that I'm working when so many people I know aren't, but I'm not earning loads, and I think I'm not in a there's a lot of people in a similar situation, isn't there? Can't see a number on that, but I think that's it. So I'm looking for C-split. So this next part is all G apart from one piece. I really do like the way the parts are laid out. I understand that you'll lay them out to try and get maximum efficiency on the sprue. But when they're laid out in numerical order, it does make the job so much easier finding them. So I started off with a nice big space, and I just seem to have used all of this space for putting things down. How do I do that?
It just happens that way.
Yeah.
Especially if you're putting like a piece of that superstructure together, and they want you to get a part from 5 different sprues.
Yes. Yeah. What I'm attempting to do is lay the parts out in roughly the way they're going to end up. Because obviously once you've cut them off the sprue, there's no reference to the number anymore. I'll tell you what, I do like these sprue cutters. They were rather expensive off Amazon. They said they're Japanese micro nippers or something, and I got no idea if that's good or not. But I bought them because I needed a pair, and they are absolutely fantastic. But when Horlicks came around to fix my computer, he needed just sort of grabbing that I grabbed them because they were the first ones there. And it was just really funny that he picked them up, and he obviously he's cutting a wire or so. I can't remember what he was doing. And he just picked them up and he went, "Oh, they're nice." It just completely stopped his tracks. And I thought, "Oh, if you say that they must be good." But they do. They feel nice in the hand, and I think that makes a difference as well, doesn't it? If they feel nice.
Well, if they feel nice and how well they're put together, you can buy a cheaper pair, and some of them have like a coiled spring to make them spring back open, and after a while the spring breaks. So the last time I needed nippers, I bought myself actually a pair of the ones that World of Wayne was promoting.
Yeah.
From Xuron. And they are really nice because instead of the edges of the blades coming together, they actually kind of overlap.
Okay.
And you are able to get a much finer cut with them. Sometimes you don't need to actually go back and file off any excess.
So this is just my dry. Oh, this is going to work, isn't it? So I'm doing a dry fit, and then I'm also trying to figure out how to place these together. But I think it's going to be easier to do these parts. Yeah, because these I can hold, and there's two little tabs that come together, so they can't slide down too far. So that's quite handy. So we'll see how good a fit that is in a minute. Well, that's really good, isn't it? And this one has two tabs on it, so it can't go up or down. Oh, that's an odd shape. Right. Ah, nice. Right.
Need to step away for a moment. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no problem. David Bassett is saying that happy footage. I'll read that when he comes back. So everyone's saying hi to Adrian. Oh, I can't get that in there. I think it probably doesn't help. I've got a little bit of, what do you call it, sprue nub? Yeah, that's better. I just want to hold this edge in. At the moment, this is, what's the word I'm looking for? Malleable. If I can just get that. Oh, hang on. That's lucky. That's a really good spot. Right. So this actually doesn't go at the top. It actually has a little ridge on it. So that was unfortunate. I don't know if you missed that. I was trying to position this on the top like that, and I was struggling.
Right.
Just noticed there's a little lip. There's a lip down the sides, so that actually reset in, and then you see it goes in perfectly. Which obviously is going to make life so much easier for gluing this in, because now I can hold it on the ridges, and then in goes the glue. And then I can just push it down a little bit, and I'll just pop that on there. I know it's not glue, but it should just hold a bit of shape. Oh, that's nice. Actually, I will go with that. This is one of the things I like about doing it this way. You can combine your dry fit with actual glue up all in one. You know, if your dry fit works, don't pull it apart. Right. That's nice. That's very nice. Right, so more parts going on there. Now, oh, I'm just going to push that in. There's a little bit of a gap there. Again, can't tell if it's because of the parts or my processors. So don't look at this and think, oh, that's a badly fitting kit. You might be right, but that's a lot better, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So there's the next 3 parts that are going on the top. I remember from the color chart. It's going to be these, and these are going to be painted H1233, which is a flat black 950 Vallejo 1749 Model Master XF1 Tamiya. So I suppose this is where you would be saying paint the part and then glue it on.
Possibly, unless the deck area that it's gluing onto is also going to be the same color.
Well, see, I'm thinking it's this top bit there is going to be H12. No, not H12. H11 is flat white. 14. No, that's orange. Where's the gun? Oh, 305. So this is going to be medium gunship grey on the top, but on the side it's going to be grey, XF19. So I think I'm going to put them on because I'll paint the whole lot the dark color, and then I'll be confident I can get in there with a brush and just tidy that up with the correct color. And I like painting black over other colors because it works. Now there was a comment I was going to wait for you to come back on because it mentions you. David Bassett says P40 F20. One of the last model aircraft I built was a Matchbox 1-72 A7 Corsair 2, aka Slough. Short, little, ugly, fat fellow.
That's the polite way to say it.
Yes, I was going to say that because I know the buff, that doesn't stand for big, ugly, fat fella, does it?
Yes, it does. That's what the B-52 is referred to as. The buff. Okay,
I thought that was not actually the word fellow, but...
Well, no, fellow is polite, but...
Yeah, but when we hear the word fellow, we know what it means.
Right.
So, right. And these all going together. Right, let's have some fun with some smoothly parts then, shall we? Right. B, I've seen B somewhere. D. We've got D. Of course we have, yeah. Right. B. So B46, which is there. I'm starting to see how the engineering is on these parts, and I'm okay with it. I like it. This is going to go on. Yeah, they've got little ledgers. I think. Yeah. So you see, you got a little sticky out ledge, and then you've got tabs there, so you can position it exactly the right place. Right. So let's have a look at these D13. There's 2 of them. And I think these are going to be extremely fiddly. No. Yes. Oh. Okay. I almost was going to cut it there, but there's a little tiny tab there and there's two of them. So yeah, that makes sense because right, I'm going to cut the whole part off. And I'll just do on the other one as well. And then I'll do a sneak attack.
Boy, it looks like there's a lot of teeny tiny parts in that kit.
Yes, yes. So it's really hard to see, but there's a little tiny tab there. So you can't cut flush. I think that would be about right. If you turn this one angle, you can't see that tab. But if you turn it the other, there we go. Very, very small. And I'm just trying to establish if it's going to be easier to put these on and then glue this on to this, or if it's going to be easier just to put the ledge on and then bring the parts in once that's done. I think it's going to be easier to glue this on first. Would you agree?
Possibly, yeah.
Because once I've glued this small tiny ledge on, I've got a much bigger part to hold. Which then gives me, instead of holding it like that and bringing the part in, I would then be holding it like that, which gives me more space. I think I'm going to do that. Right. So I might be off camera here. Right. So because this is quite difficult to hold and glue, I've just stuck it down and then I'll just finish it off. And I'll just let that sit for a moment. And then I can work on the top and then I'll pop the little, I don't know what you call them, and they look more like antennas. Right, and these parts that go on the top, they're made out of the D-screw. So more tiny parts. So we need, that's just to make, oh, because there'll be more. Right, so D65, which must be that part with number on it, and 41. Oh, they're both 64s. Right. So I'm going to make both of those. These are going to be the larger ones. So 64, 63. Now that was pigs there, wasn't it? Right. Not overly keen on, well, I don't know why I got a grey cutting board. I knew models. I think I got the cutting board before I got the models, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. You guys all went to that because it showed up better on the video.
Yeah. which is brilliant. But then when you come to making grey parts, it's very hard to see them on the desk. Right, I'm really not happy with this fit, you know. That is not a good fit. It's almost as though I'm putting two lefts together or two rights. Right. That's the best I'm going to get. That really doesn't look good, does it?
It's, oh, yeah, I see now.
But I can see the differences in the parts now. It's at the back. Right, they're going to be a good fit when I put them on because it's got a shaped plug. So when they go on, yeah, look, they're a nice fit because of the shaped plug. Right, let that one sit for a minute. I think I want to glue the middle one in first before I glue these on. Oh, excuse me. Oh, fell off. Ooh. No, this is a coincidence. I was just sitting here thinking, just literally this second, normally Mark Mods pops into a lot of the streams, and I'm thinking, oh, I've not seen him tonight. And all of a sudden, Mark's Mod says, hello, everybody. And Dave Mack says, hi, Mark's Mods, and Mark's Mod says, hi, Dave Mack. So I wonder how many other people I can think I haven't seen for a while, and they'll just pop in the stream.
Fleetwood J been on?
Yes, he came in early on.
Mm.
Do you know what? I think I might have made a mistake on this. I filed this flat. See, I've tried to get that seam line filled.
Uh-huh.
But this one, which is exact same two parts, I haven't filed it yet, but I just cut the little sprue nub off. And there's a little split there.
Is there supposed to be a split there?
The way, if you look at the bottom, if you look at the other side, we've got the same split. But if you look at the bottom, there's no gap in the seam.
Uh-huh. Might be a short shot.
A short shot?
Yeah, where the mold didn't fill in completely. There was some air trapped in there, and that's why you've got a gap there.
It looks like it's made to do that. That is an even. Come on, folks. That looks like it's meant to do that. No, I can't focus. Maybe I'm too close to the camera. There we go. It just looks.
Is there something else that goes in there? Yeah, it does look like a purpose slot there.
Right. What I find coincidental as well is on the instructions, you can see it doesn't look like there's meant to be a gap. You can see the seam line drawn on. This is such a shame that my camera's not got good focus. I can see this on YouTube and it's awful.
Well, you can see well enough, though, that it doesn't look like there's anything else that's meant to go inside of that.
No. So let's make another up. We've got to make them eventually. Right, got to remember which one is which. Right. You know,
Looks like you got the same gap.
Yeah. But I can rock it. Oh, this is frustrating, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So if this is meant to have this gap, then it means I've filed down the first one too much. I'm now looking at this one. I'm tempted to say I've not filed down enough. No, that one's got the gap as well.
Yeah.
And I'll do this other one just in case maybe it's one part. Because we don't know if these two screws came out of the same mold.
Oh, I imagine they do. They would only have one mold and they would just shoot it multiple times. That's all.
Right. Okay.
There's normally only one set of tooling made.
Right. So even though they've got two identical sprues in, they wouldn't have two of them, so they can keep up with the speed of the ones that need one.
No, that would kind of defeat the purpose of trying to cram as many similar parts onto one sprue as you possibly can. And if you cut multiple cavities, it's much cheaper to just, if you need two sets of sprues, you shoot the thing twice for each kit. That's cheaper than cutting another set of molds to produce the same identical parts.
Right. Give me a sec, guys. I'm gonna do a screen share. Let's try and do some research on it. What are they? Exhaust ports? I don't know. What would you call them?
Well, they look like they could be exhausts. I'm not sure, but that could be what they are.
Yeah, that doesn't help, does it? It's this bit there.
Uh-huh.
Now that doesn't help, does it? That certainly doesn't help. Right, here's another picture. That's the same picture. Oh, we've got a slideshow. No, I don't think there's meant to be a gap. I know these are quite long off pictures, far off pictures.
It would make sense that those would be the exhausts. They're up on the highest part of the superstructure.
Yeah. I can't see any gaps. Right, okay. So would I file these then so there's no gaps? See how they come out. Do you mind if I don't know if I did the wrong screen there. Do you mind if I do that?
Well, that first one you did that you were thinking you filed too much, did it fit in its location okay?
Yeah, look. This is the first one.
I mean, did it, fit on top of that piece of superstructure okay?
Oh, which I now
I
can't
imagine
find.
there was some kind of a pin sticking up that goes inside of it or something, or is there just a recess?
It's a little circle with a flat bit cut on it.
Okay.
So these ones that we
yeah,
get.
I see. Yeah, that looks
Yeah.
right then. So then probably the gap shouldn't be there.
It's it's a very large hole. There's a lot of movement.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think I'm happy that that gap isn't there, and I'd rather have all four looking the same and wrong,
Mm-hmm.
than three looking right and one wrong. So I think I'm just gonna keep filing this until it's flat. And if the purists want to come after me with a cudgel, then I'll just have to make sure I'm wearing my trainers. What's more important, being right or being happy with the build?
Well, it depends on your point of view. If you want to be strictly accurate, then and it's supposed to have that gap, then probably you wouldn't be happy.
But you can only be super accurate if you know a lot about the build.
Right. Probably I'd be willing to bet that those tiny little parts that you have in your hand right now, actually, it should probably be some kind of a framework with a mesh around it.
That's a good point. There you go. I put the tiny gap towards the bottom where it won't be seen so much.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Maybe that's how it should have gone in the first place. Yeah. Okay. But look on the bright side, it's made us research it, hasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Of course, sometimes research can be its own sort of trap because you can research stuff and then look at what you have and say, well, this whole thing just doesn't satisfy me. And then it never gets built.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a good example of where research, well, how many times have we disagreed with Spitfire?
Mm-hmm.
And in the end, I think when it looks like it's potentially going to get heated, I think we just both pull out the argument. Well, it's my model. Well, I'll build it how I'm happy.
Right. Do whatever you want.
Well, there was one bit we were looking at, wasn't it? And I could find, we totally just about the position of a part. I could find photos to support my argument.
And you talking about the oil cooler.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But none of us could find photos of the oil cooler on that exact aircraft. So,
being that it was built in 1939, it probably had the oil cooler as Hachette has given it to us. Now, at some point, the oil, because it was in service for about 4 years.
Yeah.
At some point, the oil cooler could have become damaged and they took the front end off of it. Or another thing is they found out that that small opening wasn't allowing enough air to go through to keep the oil cool. So they chopped the front end off and then subsequently made the others with the front end chopped off. There's so many different things that could have happened.
Yeah.
I mean, there's officially the way they should be built, and then there's the way that they were built.
Yes. And then you also have to factor in there's a war going on.
There's a war going on, right? And even when it comes to paint colors, sometimes, well, you got a scratch in the paint. Well, the ERC goes and grabs a can of paints, splodges it on, and if it's not the exact right color, well, at least it's painted.
Yeah.
So many things can happen. That's why I say the only hard and fast rule is there aren't any hard and fast rules.
Yeah, and I love that rule. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, how do you know that particular part wasn't that color that day, then a different color the next, and then a different color the day after?
Yeah, the paint supplier sent the wrong mix of paint. Well, what are you going to do? Tell them, get out of here and get me the right color? No, there's a war around. Yeah. We got to paint the planes.
Yeah. Well, wait. This is one of the chats we had in another group. And we were going. Can you imagine Hitler going? It's okay. We will not attack today, just to give you the opportunity to paint your aircraft.
Right.
But they're all the correct color for tomorrow because we are coming. That's the wartime equivalent of getting your best china out for a visit from your auntie.
Right. Oh, time out. I haven't got the right color.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds like my mum going, I can't go out, my shoes don't match my handbag.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I've just spotted the time. I think I've only done one section, look. I think I'm going to do that middle turret and then I'm going to call it a night, if that's all right with you guys.
That's fine.
It's been fun, but you don't realize how time consuming these are, do you, until you actually do them.
Oh, yeah. You can slap it together in a couple of hours, or if you really want to make it look nice, you could spend months on it.
Cool. I think this is going to take months, not because obviously I do want it to look nice, but more because it's just going to take me that long.
Yeah, wait till you get to the Bismarck and the Tirpitz with all that photo etch.
Yeah, they're not well.
And then there's bits you'll have to cut off the ships in order to be able to put the photo etch on.
Because they're aftermarket parts, so they replace parts that are on.
You're replacing something that's rather crudely molded on the kit with something that looks much nicer.
You've just made my life so much worse, P14.
Well, anything I can do to help.
No, it is okay. I mean, the subject we were talking about part works, but obviously when my first my first model was the Route Master, and that was a challenge. Now, obviously, it's become a little bit simpler, and now it's like my next builds, I want them to be either more of a challenge or a different challenge, either or, which is partly why was like the Spitfire is a different challenge. I mean, that engine, that will live with me for a long time. But the modifier. Sorry, go on.
No, I wasn't saying anything.
Okay, so I thought you were. Oh, my parts are falling apart. Modifying the Spitfire is an absolute godsend for me. And if the Spitfire had come out 2-3 years ago, and the Route Master was the model that's just come out, would I have enjoyed it as much? I don't know. And the Spitfire wouldn't have been modded. And, you know, the Route Master, I think it's perfect timing for me. Oh, do you know what? That bit looks like it's made to measure. Who would have guessed? Yeah, so I think my feedback on this, obviously it's my first ship. I don't know how long ships will take, but they're not going to be as quick as you think they are.
No. Like I say, to me, doing a ship is one of the more difficult things you can model.
Yeah.
I think it's more in terms of the painting. The painting can be very difficult.
Yes, that's I've watched a lot of videos on the building of the Bismarck, and I think it's the painting of that. It's got kind of a dazzle effect on it.
Yeah, can you imagine? You know, like they have those those black and white stripes on the side of the Bismarck, and I think they ran up on the superstructure, and it, you know, having to try and mask the superstructure off so that you can actually paint that.
Yeah. Well, one of the videos I watched on it on YouTube was I think his name is Max Afterburner. And I love his builds, but I think he was a US Air Force mechanic, because he's talked about models of I've actually worked on this aircraft, but the way he did the Bismarck was he didn't put the superstructures together. In fact, I think he had subframes of the superstructures. And what he did is, like, say this bit, for example, it might be in 2 pieces, and then what he'll do is he'll place them together and he'll work out the lines, and then he'll take the part off and put a bit of masking tape on, put it back on, and then he'll paint them all separately and then bring them all together. And I think, especially in that instance, it was quite a sensible thing to do. Right, that is actually quite ugly with those lines. But I think that can possibly be covered up by the time we finish painting. It's going to be...
By the time you put black paint on it, you won't be able to hardly see anything on it.
Yeah. And I think when you've got a 45 centimeter ship, those small details don't show up so much, do they?
No, not really. But the fact that they're such a contrasting color, you do tend to get drawn to them a little bit, you know, because the rest of the ship is all of a gray, and then you've got these black bits.
Yeah, true. Well, we'll see how it comes out. It's not, you know, this was a moderately priced kit. Wasn't super expensive. It was the kind of kit that I bought thinking, if it goes wrong, it's not the end of the world. If this was a £500 kit and it all went wrong, I'd be like, oh no.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I'll just do a bit of a catch up on chat. Research is as subjective as the subject you were looking for. E.g., how many overhauls and garage specification modifications did these route masters go through? RMLs that started life in LT light green with cream band went through several shades of green. And then Mark's Monsters Evening, David Bassett with yellow and white bands before being sold back to LTE, and some were painted red in many different liveries since. Your Flying Scotsman steam locomotive went through many liveries and modifications with different chimneys. That I did not know. I know there was a black scheme and a green scheme, but I'm only up to issue 8 of the magazine.
You got to do the green scheme.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely doing the green scheme because that to me is the Flying Scotsman.
Oh yeah.
No two ways about it. Right, I'm looking for 20. Here we go. Right, okay, this is going to be tricky. This is where I need masking tape. Right, I'll tell you what I'll do. Cut them off long. What I would normally do, because I can't reach, normally, like this piece here, I'd hold that as I cut it.
Right.
Same there, but because I want to cut from this side, I can't fit with my fingers, so I might, actually, I've got a bit of masking tape. I masking taped my box together when I moved.
Another thing that you can do is get yourself a large clear plastic freezer bag. You put the sprue and your hands inside the freezer bag. You cut the part, and then it pretty much stays trapped in the bag.
But
instead of going flying off.
Sorry, just bear with me a sec.
Okay.
I've just noticed on YouTube the picture quality's improved.
Maybe. Thank you.
Oh, maybe my internet sorted itself out. Yeah,
it seems to be working better.
Yeah. Oh, just as we come towards the end of the stream.
Well, probably people are going to bed now. Who knows?
Well, it is a sensible time to go to bed, isn't it? Does that mean all my streams now have to be at midnight then? Bodged that one up, haven't I? This seems like an awful lot of faff, but I've had too many pieces fly off in various... That's not going to work, is it? Right, okay, let's go back to the old method then. So I'm just going to cut the whole piece off.
Oh, there we go.
That's a lot easier, isn't it? And then I can hold the piece. Why am I cutting 3 off? I do need 3, yeah. Right. Place them very carefully on my grey table.
Right, so you don't lose them.
Yeah. That is exactly it.
You know, yesterday I got parts for the Ecto 1.
Yeah.
And the parts for the supports for the dashboard and those little speaker grills you're supposed to put in them. And I open up the package, take the parts out, and it's like, where's my speaker grills? So I get on the phone, call up Eagle Moss and say, well, I got my parts here and some pieces were missing. Could you send me some replacements? They said, okay, fine, no problem. You'll have them in a couple hours later, I find the grills.
Oh, no. And of course, that's not the... See, with me, that's easy because all I do is I get the parts and then I sit and wait for them. You've still got to pay postage, haven't you? Because obviously they'll post them to your UK postage address.
Maybe my internet's starting to get wonky. You're dropping in and out. I only get every other word from you. I don't know how you're hearing me.
it's because I've just walked over to the drawer. I tried this. This is my diamond painting pen. And I used it the other day on the Flying Scotsman. I had a very small piece, and I just thought, oh, all it is, it's in there is some blue tack, and there's a plunger there, and then as you moves the plunger down, and it's what I use for my diamond painting, but it's generally a pick-me-up pen, so you can pick things up with it. And it was I've done it before with, like, so when you're picking tiny bits up, I've used bits of blue tack. Now this part needs to be glued onto those tabs.
Right.
So I was just thinking if I can pick them up. I'm going to need more blue tack, I think. Yeah, that's not. Yeah, there we go. I was thinking something along the lines of that. The only problem is I do need a third hand. Right, okay. I just dropped that piece onto the instructions.
Oh, good.
So now I'm looking for a light grey part on white instructions. Right.
Try tipping your instructions up. See if it slides down onto the cutting mat.
There it is. Right. Okay. I think it's going to be easier to use my tweezers.
You know what else works good is a piece of masking tape.
I'm going to end up swearing at you. I'll tell you what would be handy. Somewhere on this desk I have a little base, and you can screw these on.
Right.
And then what you can do is you can position the tweezers. If you use these ones, you can place your part like that. And then I can actually position the base so that this will be just at the right height, and then, or wherever, and then I can actually, but that would free up my right hand. And as I say, I'm still not organized. Oh, that's my screwdriver on the floor. This is my life at the moment until I get my desk sorted. It's coming along, actually.
Okay.
One
thing I have to say is that it seems like every time you move, you end up in a smaller place.
Yes, yes.
That's not going to be good with all these big projects you got.
Well, do you know what? I'm going to make a confession. I am worried because let me switch the camera, and I'm going to steal the view. So yesterday I finished putting the first supports on the bed. So I've now got my 4 uprights. I took all the other bit down. I cut 8 lengths of this, 8 lengths of the sides. We've put the bottom length on, and this is going to be the desk height.
Okay.
The next one is going to be the bed height, and then you've got the top. And watch this. This is 4 screws this is screwed in with.
Ta-da!
Yeah. So obviously when you've got all of them working together, this is actually going to come out. Originally I was going to cut it and then put a smaller support in the middle, but I think the whole lot's going to come out, and I'm going to put a, would you call it a 2x2? This is a 2x4.
Right.
But this has got to come down slightly lower, because at the moment this is the same height as my desk, but I've got to put an 18mm sheet on there, so it needs to come down about 2 centimeters. This is too thick for the front of the desk, I've got a hobby vise somewhere.
Right.
Won't clip on that width, but it will.
Unless you have the top of the top board of the desk stick out from that a little bit.
Well, by having the 2x2 rather than 2x4,
right,
it's going to give me a lot less width there. And then the hobby vise, but I don't want the hobby vise as a permanent fixture. I only want it when I need it. However, that's not going to be the end of the desk. I've worked out that the working area is going to be there, but I'm going to actually cut into it. This is actually deeper than my current desk. So all of the drawers and everything is going to come to about this deep. So what will happen then is this chair will push into the desk. So the front edge will actually be about there. But before I put all of that in, what I wanted to do was put a support across there and then there. Then I can cut this beam out, but there'll be supports going up as well. And then under there and under there will be drawers. The only problem I've got is that each time I measure, it gets bigger. So the wardrobe next to it here I was gonna put a wardrobe in, and originally was going to be about this big. So it's this big. So what's now going to happen over there was going to be a shelf with a flip up table, because then with the computer sitting there, I could mount a camera there pointing down, and any non-model projects would be easy to film. And then all of this back wall that you can't see was just going to, I was thinking about the idea of French cleats, and then I can put all of my models onto and make a little base and then hang them up on the French cleats, so I can compact everything closer together. And I think I can get all of my models on this one small wall, which will still give me the back wall. But what I'm now thinking is I'm still going to have my box. I don't know if you saw, I think the box came out today.
I haven't watched that yet.
Oh, do you know what? It's a lot of fun. But did you see the video? I'll put both of them because I can't talk to someone who I can't see. Have you seen the video for I think you did see the one for the saw track?
Yes, I did.
That was, I'll call that a success because it works. It's functional. It does exactly what I want it to do. I've now learned a lesson on Tiro. I think maybe I did it too fast and it just ripped it rather than cut it. That's okay. That's a lesson to learn, but it still works perfectly. So the box that I've made, it's you start off with one sheet of plywood. You've got two edges which are longer, so I cut those off and then cut that piece in half. Then cut a strip down the side. That leaves me with all four panels that are all exact same width. And then I went zip, zip, zip. And then I glued it together. I had so much fun with the glue. You know when you're in primary school and you get to play with messy things?
Yeah.
That was me with the glue. I just thought, do you know what? I don't know how much glue I need. I bought a 5 litre tub of, believe it or not, this glue for 5 litres was about the same price as a top brand 1 litre. And I thought, apparently it's had some good reviews, and I thought I'm going to glue and screw it. So I had loads of glue. So I just got a piece of cardboard. I just tipped all the glue or some glue onto the cardboard, and I just dipped the finger in and just ran it all the way down the edge. So of course this glue, in fact, these are still the trousers that I wore, and they've got so much crud all over them. But it was fun. I just went, down I go. I made a little jig so that I could get my corner square. and that worked really well. The only bad thing was, you'll like this. I had my camera on a tripod. Now, the day before, I filmed everything using the battery, which was fine. I forgot to put the battery on charge, so I ran the power cable to. I've got a battery replacer or something. It goes in there, but it means there's a wire coming out.
Mm-hmm.
I caught the wire on with one of the power tools, which pulled the camera, which tipped it over on the tripod, and I did include it on the video. That's now what my camera lens looks like.
Oh, wow.
Thankfully, it was only the camera lens,
Yeah.
and it was a standard camera lens that came with the camera. It's still 50 odd quid to replace.
Mm-hmm.
But so half of the film has been recorded with the camera, and then the other half has been filmed with the mobile phone. But it's fine. And then the best tool I had was my electric screwdriver. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
That has been absolutely.
Oh, you froze.
Pardon? Am I still freezing? No, I'm back.
You're freezing up again.
Oh, from where I am. Oh, there we go. Are we better? Yeah. I think it was you who froze, actually.
Well, I think I did too. Yeah.
Mind you, it's becoming. If my peak time was 2 hours ago, you're coming up for your peak time, aren't you?
Oh yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although it's getting to be dinner time, so it might ease up a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, the what I'm noticing with the wood projects is each time I do a certain task, I just look a bit more comfortable doing it. I think that first cut that I made with that circular saw, I think there was an awful lot of fear in me. I know the first time I switched it on, it scared the living daylights out of me. And the way it rattled, and I'm like, oh! And then when I did an actual cut, it was like, and now I'm just like, right, okay, yeah, right, off we go. And then I got a miter saw. Verwayne bought me a miter saw off my wish list. I mean, obviously I put the items on the wish list.
Right.
When I added the item to the wish list, I thought it was a nice looking miter saw, probably no good for a professional carpenter, but for my use, absolutely perfect. And it could do 45-degree cuts. When I got it, I found out, I can't remember what they call it, compound cuts. Not only can you turn it 45 degrees that way, you can also turn it 45 degrees that way.
Oh, wow.
You can do both together. So you can turn it like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I won't use that feature, but as you can see, all I've done is just straight 90-degree cuts. The fence is removable. It turns out I've got a good one. I saw a YouTube review on it, and the bed wasn't level, and this guy had to spend ages just with a sandpaper. He had a big bit of sandpaper on a beam, and he was just running it backwards and forwards until the bed was level. And I got my spirit level and I'm just rubbing it up, and it's absolutely fine. And if there's any mistakes in the cuts, it's not down to the miter saw, it's down to me.
Mm-hmm.
The only trouble I'm having is clamping things down onto it. But I am dealing with lengths of wood that are 4.8 meters long. So I can hold it further out, so I'm not going to cut my fingers off. I think I'm having trouble controlling the wood. My cuts don't need to be.
When I watched the other video, you
And you've just frozen. Oh,
So good.
there we go. Yeah, I think we've lost P40. Okay, so in that case, sorry, what I did is I removed him and put him back in the stream. Sometimes that will help, but in this case we've lost him altogether. Right, okay, I'm going to assume I've lost him, but I was thinking about coming to a close anyway. I hope that wasn't too boring for everybody. Yeah, I've achieved a little bit of something today, so I'm just picking these tiny parts up and I'm just sticking them to this bit of masking tape because I don't want to lose them. Right, so yeah, the stream is a bit of a one-off today. And have we got him back? Oh, we've got I've got you back. Lovely. Okay, so well, I was just about to wrap up anyway, but yeah, you just kind of froze. So I couldn't get you back.
Yeah, well, so did you, and then the screen went black with a couple of swirlies for both me and you.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a shame. I might have a word with my internet company and say, look, I mean I've had this internet now for must be a month. Yeah, must be about a month now, and the first
you've been there about a month now.
Yeah, and it was installed the day after I moved in. So yeah, it's about, because I know with internet connections you've got to leave it for a couple of weeks because it kind of, which is strange because that's the sort of thing you'd say with a bucket of water or something. You've got to let it settle. But it was running absolutely superb for the first few days, and then it just got a little bit funny here and there. And I just thought, well, okay, fine. It's a bit new. And I do speed checks. I've had anything from 52 megabits per second to 20. And then I think the other day I got 42. So, but unfortunately, there's one thing I noticed I'm a bit caught out on. They have an estimated speed, and then they have a minimum speed guarantee. And the minimum is actually quite low. It's something like about 15 megabits per second, which for streaming is probably not awesome. But
yeah, I don't know about the internet providers in your country, but I know over here that sometimes what they do is, yeah, you first sign up and everything is great, and then after a while they kind of dial back the speed a bit.
Yeah.
Until you cry uncle.
Yes, yeah. I wonder if we can. Yeah, if I cry down the phone enough, they might go, "Okay, we'll turn the speed up." I don't know how internet works with speeds. Is it that you get the speed comes through that they control?
Well, yeah. If you pay more money, you can get a faster speed, right?
It's literally turning up the button, is it? Turning it up?
I would think so. Yeah.
Wow, because I know with my last one. I paid for 50 megabits and I was getting about 52, and then I upgraded it to 100 because I had a friend moved in next door who was sharing my internet, so she went halves with me and I ramped the speed up to 100. Mm-hmm. And then when she moved out, I knocked it back down to 50. But about a month later they said something about me being a customer for so long or something, and so they just ramped the speed up to 100 free of charge. So
that was nice of them.
Yeah. Well, Virgin do that. I know when years and years ago. This will make you laugh. Years ago, I had a top TV package with them, and internet and telephone, and they said they were rolling out new broadband. And they wanted to test it out. So everyone that was on this particular level of package or higher was getting this increased speed. So we are talking about 20 years ago. So they ramped my speed up to an incredible 1 gigabyte per second.
Wow.
Now that was really, really fast.
That's moving.
That really was fast. And it was like suddenly all these pictures were loading in seconds. And I was downloading MP3s in about, well, years ago, I used to download an MP3. It used to take longer to load than the actual song played for.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
It was about a minute for each minute of song, which was about 2 gig for each minute. Now I download something off the internet, it's down in about 10 seconds. And I'm like, wow. But I suppose I'm lucky because my first internet connection was a 14400 broadband internet, what do you call it? A dial-up modem.
Oh, yeah. Had that back in the 90s, yeah.
Yeah, that was, what's that? 0.014 gigabyte per second. That's, yeah. And that was, and then I went to 28800s and I was amazed by the speeds. 28800 modem. It was like, yeah, it was amazing. So, right. Lovely. So, if you guys are all right, I'm going to wind up this show. I'm not got a lot to actually show for it, but I'm really happy with what I've done. Is that a fair comment?
Well, you've got a couple of little bits there.
Yeah, not actually got a superstructure I could stick to the boat. I nearly called it a boat. But yeah, it's and now I've got little bits that I need to put into a drawer, but I've got to put the right bits in. Oh no, where have they gone? Right. So yeah, no, I'm really happy with that. So, and I've got a little bit done. And I'm quite happy to call this a project that I'm just doing little bits here and there. You know, I might work on some more next week. It might sit there for 6 months. I don't know. But that's quite nice. And like I say, the title of it was Chill and Chat, and I'm chilled out and I'm chatted out. So everything's worked, and I've got to meet one of my favorite YouTube viewers, P40F20, who is very, very encouraging on my channel. Not scared to tell me when I've cocked up, and it's all good feedback. And a lot of my growth on my channel, or a lot of my video improvements, has been down to this gentleman. So for that alone, I thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Well, thank you very much, Benny. It's been a fun ride.
Yes. And yeah, it's been fun. So
I got involved with you just because I wanted to build a bus.
Yes. Yeah. This is what I do to people. You will never be rich again after meeting me. But funnily enough, I got Horlicks into building the bus as well. And collectively, we got Mark's Mods into building the bus. So, yeah, we've cost quite a few people quite a bit of money, I think. And
so
that's
how much of a kickback are you getting from Hachette now?
Do you know what? If I was getting 1%, I'd be happy. But unfortunately, I'm not getting any. I wish I was. But no, I say I don't know anyone that's not happy with the build, but to be honest with you, if you're not happy with the build and you continue all the way to issue 130, there's probably a problem there, isn't there?
Yeah.
If I wasn't enjoying the build, I probably wouldn't build it past issue. For me, I think issue 5 is the one that tells me what the build is going to be like. 5, 6, or 7. Because issue 1, they're always going to give you a lot to do, or a lot of parts. So
the fanciest parts, the most standout parts.
Yeah. And then obviously with all the subscription gumph, they're going to show you pictures of the next 3 issues. So they need those ones to look nice. And then 5 or 6 tends to be what I call a slower issue. And I think sort of round about issue 7, you know if you're going to like the model or not. I think so. And I say, but everyone who gets on with the bus, they absolutely love it. And you don't have to be a bus enthusiast to love it, do you?
No, not really. Then
So,
there's some people, they buy all the parts or some of the parts, they never do anything with it, and then they're selling it on eBay.
yeah. I see. When you were saying that, I'm thinking, I don't know why they do that. But then, as soon as you said selling on eBay, yeah, now I know why they do it. It's a bit of a shame, but yeah. But I do. I mean, I know a lot of people who have they've collected all the parts and they've just not built it. And I'm like, why would you not do that? Why? You've got these parts. I can't wait for my parts. As soon as I want to build them.
I think with some people, it's just they get the parts and they look at them and they just freak out. They, it's not having what would you call it? Uh, I kind of want to say spatial awareness, but just being able to look at them and see how they go together and see that it's like, well, it's really no
Right.
big deal.
Okay. I can see that. But then why would they buy the whole collection?
I don't know. It's like I first got started with Partworks. I think it was back in 2016 with the Millennium Falcon, and
Yeah.
actually I didn't buy that for myself. I bought it for my son.
Yeah.
And what he decided to do was wait until he had all the parts and then he built it.
Okay.
But yeah, for some people, I don't know, maybe they look at all the parts and say, "Oh my God, I don't know how to do this," and it's really you just take it a bit at a time, and it's not
Yeah.
that bad.
That's one thing this bus has taught me is that because we're dealing with even model kits, they look complicated when they're finished, but you literally taking it one piece and obviously Partworks makes it simpler because it splits everything down. I mean, how harsh
Yeah,
that.
some it's like you could put the parts together in your sleep. Others it's like, well, it
Yeah.
takes a bit of working. The one thing that really surprised me was all of the people in the Root Master group, coming onto Facebook and saying, I don't understand this wiring. And
Yeah.
for me it's like, well, it's all labeled. What I don't really quite understand what the big deal is. I could understand if it wasn't labeled. What do I do? But
Yeah.
everything's labeled. It's
And
just
they've
not
got
that bad.
See, I can't remember which wire is which, but I know which wires go together.
Right? Yeah.
So you don't plug the green and red one into the black and the grey one. But I can't remember that the black and the grey one is the upstairs lights.
Yeah.
It's
You
just
don't remember what they're for, but they're all color coded and they're all labeled.
and I have lost one label. One label got caught and ripped off.
Uh huh.
So it's a case of if I'm looking for D, for example, and I go through every single one and I cannot find the D, it must be that one because it's the last label on. But I think I've actually stuck a bit of masking tape on it and written D. But I don't know if people have been removing the labels, but you probably
I
don't
don't
want.
know. I know there was one guy that he said he finally got so fed up he just cut all the wires out.
Yeah,
It's like it's I just don't see it as being that hard. And if you again
well,
you
that
take it
sounds to
one
me,
bit at a time.
yeah, that sounds to me like bringing the wiring down to plug it all into the circuit board. The
Yeah,
issue,
that's why I looked to see, can I take this circuit board out and get it back in, because it was so much easier once I took the circuit board
oh,
out.
yeah, I mean that helped, but it didn't because what I didn't like was shoving a load of wires in and then pushing it all in. That
Yeah,
sounds,
that you had, whether you took the circuit board in or out or not. You had a
yeah,
whole mess of wires you had to shove in, and that's how I ended up breaking the wire off of the power switch that I had
yeah.
to fix.
Well, I broke my wire 4 times.
Yeah.
I'm like, Right, that's it. If it breaks one more time, it's staying broke. But I managed to get it sorted out, and it's all lovely. So if you see me looking, it's because I'm actually looking at my bus when I'm talking about it. I'm one of these mad people. I talk to the bus. And I go, how are you this morning? No, I love it. I think the only person I know who loves their bus more than me is probably Dave Say, but
Oh
Dave
yeah, well he's done the ultimate in terms
knows.
of modding the bus.
But I just think it's the greatest. I mean, I'm loving the Spitfire build, but I don't think there'll be a better build than this Routemaster. It's just fantastic.
Well, you want something iconic and British, that's it.
It's just lovely, and it's big, and it's
Yeah.
any. You don't have to know anything about it to know what it is, because everyone knows whether they've been on one or not. They know what a bus is. I don't know. I just love it. Yeah, and I've built that. That's the sense I get. Anyway, look, I'm going to finish the show off if it's okay with you guys. How many times have I asked that?
There's several times, and it's now been 3 hours.
Me, I was thinking hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, and you know that means at least 3 hours, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just not very good with the end broadcast button. Right, so I'm going to let P40 say goodbye. As always, it's an honor. It's an honor just having him in the chat, let alone actually on the stream. I really appreciate your help. As you saw today, within 10 minutes, I learned something. Woodland Scenic Foam Tack Glue?
Foam tack glue, yeah.
Foam tack glue, so I will be looking that up. I have to write things down. And Dave Bassett, thank you very much. Mini Art 1 to 35 LGOC B type bus. So I may have more purchases to make for my stream. Just as I'm starting to get everything sorted out, I'm going to be buying even more stuff thanks to you two. Right, so I'm going to let P40F20 say goodbye, and then I'm going to close the show. So thanks for watching, everyone.
Okay, everybody, I hope you enjoyed tonight's show. I had a lot of fun, and maybe we'll see you again some other time. Bye now.
Right, take care, guys. And if I don't see you before, I will see you. Oh, sorry. I am really, really sorry. I haven't done this on purpose. We didn't do the YouTube schedule. I am so sorry. So I'll just run through that now because everyone's kind enough to announce our shows. And obviously, this is all about promotion of shows. I'm just going to have to turn my light off because I can't read the screen. So tomorrow is one that I'm really looking forward to, actually.
Oh, yes, Dave Say.
Dave's Hobbies is broadcasting at 8, and half of the thing has just disappeared. There we go. He's doing update on his Routmasters and new projects. And
yes, what's under that tea towel?
Yeah, what was it? It's got windows,
and seats, and it's old.
It's old, and he only knows of 2 others.
Yeah,
that people have got. Now I don't know if he's talking about the actual, what it actually is, or if he's talking about the model. But yeah, and he caught us out with that windmill. We were guessing. He gave us 3 clues about his windmill.
And well, you wouldn't get a windmill out of those 3 clues.
No, it was brilliant. Yeah. Monday night, we have got Chris Davis World, issue 4, stage 7. That's confused me a bit because issue 4, stage 7?
Probably month 4, and it's probably actually part 7, you know?
That's what I'm thinking, stage 7, which I thought was the 2nd issue, wasn't it? 1 and 2 with issue 1. 3,
right, yeah.
3. Maybe he's hit the wrong key, but it says stage 7, so and that's nice. It's nice watching the Ecto 1 being built again. And that grill, he had a lot of trouble with that grill, and I remember having trouble myself.
Yeah, I'm wondering how much trouble he's going to have with the piping, because I even said to him that sometimes the little pips that the pipes fit on were a little too big, and you were using toothpicks to
Yes. Yeah.
expand them. Sometimes they fit great, and sometimes it was like a struggle getting them on.
Yeah. I think doing this from memory, red pipes fit well. Black pipes need making a bit bigger, I think.
Well, the blue pipes for the HT leads, a lot of the pipes on the engine fit well, but there were a few that were difficult.
Yeah. Yeah.
It all depended.
But what makes me laugh now is, and this goes as clockwork, if I'm fitting any pipes or tubes, I try not to cut them until I know for a fact that they can be cut.
Right.
I had some pipes that kind of fit into a little cover, but I guarantee you, and anytime there's pipes, there will be a comment from P40F20 on my video commenting that the pipes are always too long.
Yeah, that's what I found for every single pipe in the thing so far. They're always too long, which is okay because it's easy to shorten a pipe.
Yeah, it makes me know. As soon as I'll open the magazine up before I've even filmed it, and I'm thinking, right, I'll give him 8 hours before he makes a comment saying the pipes are too long, and yeah, it'll be about that. Yeah.
Well, especially with doing that control panel in the back, you were struggling so much with those pipes. I'm seeing their Penny just got them a little shorter.
There's one of the connectors. It's a plug, but I noticed that all the others were holes. And what I ended up doing was really ramming them in to get those plugs through the hole, and that was brilliant because then I could pull them
down and make them whatever length you wanted. Yeah.
But the one that comes, the long ones that come down and underneath and around, that's a plug. That's not a hole. And I'm severely tempted to drill that plug out,
right,
turn it into a hole so I can push it through.
Right.
Once I pulled it, there was just a mass of, it was like bleh. And I wasn't bothered about getting them ruler straight because this is the Ecto 1 wasn't bought from Cadillac. It was modified by a human being.
Yeah, Egon just threw it all together.
Yeah. So I'm happy for it to be a little tiny, but not that much. Not that much. But yeah, I got there in the end, and it was just a lot of can I get away with this? And you've got to think what parts will be seen. So like those last tubes, if I drill the hole out, I think it'll all get tucked in underneath where it'll never get seen. So I'm good with that. But yeah, it's just sometimes these parts are big puzzles, aren't they?
Yeah.
So Tuesday, another one that I'm looking forward to, and I love this build, is the Build a Camper van.
Oh yes, I love that camper van.
Isn't that beautiful?
Oh, it is.
It's
I like what Fleetwood's doing with his too.
I don't know. I haven't caught up on his.
He's doing a lot of repainting, and he's actually, it looks like he's going to be using the wheel and tire sets from the white wall tires and moon hubcaps for the one version of the DeLorean time machine.
Yeah,
he's going to put those on it.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I hope it works. But Fleetwood J's a funny one because he does make me laugh because he goes, oh, well, yeah, I'm not really that good. And then he has a go and it just comes out really good. Do you remember?
Yeah, he's not that good. Just look at that diorama he built for his bus.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, yeah, I'm not very good. I don't know. Give it a go. See how it comes out. But I'm like, oh, my God, that's brilliant. I know he had, I remember when he had a problem with he had some painted lines and he'd slipped and he'd accidentally cut the road. And I said, okay. I said, just fill it in and just make it look like roadworks or something, like where they've done a patch on the road. And that's what he did. And it looks absolutely amazing.
Mm-hmm.
The way that the bus stop lines are just worn out. Just a little. Obviously, you paint lines on the road, and then where the vehicles are riding over it, it just kind of wears it a bit. And it just, it looks, there is so many stories going on in one diorama.
Yeah.
And that's coming from a guy who says, yeah, I'm not really very good at it. So,
I wonder what he would do if he was good at it.
Exactly, yeah. So Wednesday morning, there is the afternoon, there's our Paint with Diamond show, but I'm not actually going to be on it because I have to do a CPC course, which is my bus driver related. It's a 7. I've got to do 3 7-hour modules, and if I don't do them, then on the 4th of March, I will no longer legally be able to drive a bus. So it's really important that I do it. Thankfully, because of COVID, they've got these online courses, which in a sense makes it more frustrating because I'm going to be sitting in front of a computer doing a course that you pass by attending. I was thinking actually of taking a photo of me looking interested, print it off on the printer, just as it's next to the camera. I've heard stories of people who have come into the class, just put their head down and slept for the whole thing, and they've had their certificate. It's an attendance course, and it's all stuff that I've done over and over again, driving hours. The last one we did a module on immigrants, and I said, I'm not being funny. I said, but I'm going to be driving my bus through an area. It's an area called Tring, and apparently it's the furthest point from the sea anywhere in Great Britain. And I said, if I'm driving my bus and I get to the port and I'm checking for immigrants, I think there's a good chance I've gone off route. So, but yeah, it's the way it is. The law is the law, and you know it earns me money. So anyway, so I'm not going to be there, but Yorkshire Crafter is going to be on, and I'm going to say another because I actually cannot remember if we're leaving as a surprise or if we're announcing it. But Julie will not be alone.
Well, you had already said who was going to be on.
Have we? In that case, Christine Say is going to be on, which I'm really looking forward to, because it was Christine and Julie that got me into diamond painting. Mm-hmm. And I know Christine does some really nice work. But Wednesday evening, I will be returning. There will be the Partwork show, Route Master issue. We're going to go back to trying to do the 2 issues, but you know me, although we're saying issue 109, 110, if issue 109 for whatever reason takes us a really long time, then I won't be doing 110, but we're aiming for 109, 110. Then Thursday we've got Horlicks for 3 days. We've got Horlicks doing his Route Master, and I don't know what issue we're up to. Is it 122 or something?
Yeah, I think he just, or did he finish through 100? Yeah, he finished through 124. So it'll be 125.
Yeah. Now, he normally does his shows, he'll do as many issues as he can. So he might do 1 issue, he might do 5.
Well, he's got almost all the panels on now. And after that, there's really not much left to do.
Well, I think the last 3, 4 issues are really easy, aren't they? One's a driver. One's
driver, putting on the adverts and putting on the forward turn signals and windshield wiper. Yeah,
windscreen wiper. Got to have the windscreen wiper. Now, he's obviously enjoying the Spitfire because he's doing Spitfire on Friday and Saturday. And he's starting with issue 15. So obviously he'll do 15 to wherever he can get up to on Friday. And then Saturday will be the next issue.
Yeah, it seems like he's trying to catch up quick.
I think he's suffering from, I love this model so much, I want to build as much as I possibly can. I think he really did enjoy. And as I say, that issue 11 that he did, that was made for Horlicks.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He did such a marvelous job. He just breezed right through it.
He does. I mean, he took him a while. I think I worked out it was about 45 minutes, which actually was quite quick. I think when I recorded it, it was about an hour and a half. Because I remember I speeded a lot of the footage up, and I still got it down to 45-minute video, which was very long. But yeah, no, he's enjoying that. And then that takes us, that's Saturday, and then there'll be Sunday. Will be Bill with Adrian doing Spitfire, but that's more than a week away, so that one can get announced after tomorrow. So there is the YouTube schedule. Would you like to say goodbye again, P40, or?
Well, we could say goodbye again, and then maybe in another hour we might do it again.
Yeah.
All right. Good night, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the show, and you got something out of it more than just me and Penny chit-chatting back and forth. That you're able to learn a little something or other.
That would be good. Yeah.
And maybe we'll get together and do it again sometime.
Yes. So take care, everybody. If I don't see you before, I will see you Wednesday evening when I've got this little baby and a little bit of a snip. I'm not going to tell you about it, but I've got a new thumbnail coming. Someone was watching the show last week, and we had a bit of a laugh on the show, and they picked up on that, and they've given me a thumbnail. So watch out for that Wednesday. So take care, guys, and I will see you later. Oh, we've just got a comment coming from Chris. Penny the Mag's Threat to One has 4 stages in book. That's how I name mine. Issue 4, stage 7. Okay, gotcha. Right, so take care, guys, and if I don't see you before, I'll see you Wednesday. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.